What's up, guys? It's your boy Vance, aka Gain City, and I'm back with another video. And today's video is going to be about being a winner. It's a lot when it comes to, being a winner. Winners don't dwell on the past. It's all learning lessons. They take it and they run with it rather than start pointing fingers, blaming people. No, it's not what winners do, man. Winners often too don't really have competition as far as another human. It's mainly themselves. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. At the end of the day, the only competition is yourself. Y'all have to realize that, man. Yeah, it's cool to, have someone to stick with. But at the end of the day, you're your only competition. Because at the end of the day, it's your body. It's your choice. The choices and decisions is what you make. You have to see the person that you see in the mirror. You have to deal with that person. Nobody else. You live, like I said, 365 days in the same body, in that mind. That mindset, that will determine your future. That will determine, how far you get or how far you get left behind. It's all about decisions and what you do and how you think. It's not, it's that simple. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's simple. And my job is to make everything simple for you, because at the end of the day, I want everyone to succeed. I don't want someone to, somebody that has a big goal of theirs and then they're bull crapping or they're, being lazy because of their circle, who they hang out with, I want you to, strive for greatness, push yourself, go after what you want to go, what you want to go after. And don't, whoever's opinions, it don't matter. They're not the ones paying your bills. You are. So at the end of the day, it's up to you to make that decision, whether it's a hard decision or, like I said, you're going to have to sacrifice. Everything great, to be a winner and all that, you have to make sacrifices, especially if you've been losing your whole life. It's one of these audios I was listening to, and they were saying a video game, it's the same concept. It's you fighting a boss, you keep losing, that means you need to change something. You need to do something differently. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep losing. It's the same thing with life. If you keep losing at something, you have to change something. And that change has to be with you, as an individual. You can't rely on other people to change. At the end of the day, that's not your responsibility at all. All that matters is, can you change? And honestly, too, that goes into relationships. It goes into a lot of stuff, man. If you feel like you have to hope and pray that somebody changes, nah, F that. You wasting your time, but you got to make that sacrifice to get over them and go find somebody else, or go and focus on yourself and the right person might come. Because that's what I always tell people, it's like an interview. It's funny how, people, that young people and stuff like that, when it comes to dating and all that stuff, when it comes to, dudes dating girls and stuff, and it's they're too busy trying to get them to like them, when in reality, you need to see if y'all are even compatible. Can she provide for you? And vice versa. It goes both ways. Relationship is not a one-side thing. It goes both ways. And like I said, that all ties into just, like I said, every decision you make, the stuff, that way you think, all that stuff, it all plays a part. You need to have that mentality that, I don't want to say, be full of yourself, but in a way, when it comes to your goals and dreams, you gotta be full of yourself. Most people, average people gonna be like, no, you gotta stay humble and all that. Yes, you stay humble, but there's different ways of how to do that. At the end of the day, when it comes to you trying to prove yourself and trying to be the great, be a winner, be the best, you have to be kind of full of yourself, because you gotta have that confidence in yourself. And like I say, repetition, and keep going. That's the only way it's gonna work, man. You gotta be obsessed with it. It's that simple. Like I said, I've had plenty of quotes and videos and stuff where I'm just obsession is necessary when it comes to being great or doing what you want to do. Most average people, they don't like obsession because they think that that's a problem. But at the end of the day, they're a problem. They're not moving. They're sitting in one spot. That's on them. But at the end of the day, we don't do that. We keep it moving. We strive for greatness. We make it a must rather than a want or I need. Make it a must. Make it, you have to do it. You're going to do it. Like I say, get the job done. It's that simple, man. It's not rocket science, man. Don't overcomplicate stuff, man. Because it's so easy to overcomplicate everything in life. Because people do it every day. When it comes to marriages, It's funny, man. You always talk to people and they be like, oh, marriage is hard. No, it's not. It's all about communication. People make it look hard. At the end of the day, if y'all communicate, y'all work as a team, it's just like as if y'all are dating. It's just y'all, it's on paper now. That's really all it is. Just it's on paper now. Like, this is the stuff that people change, in our lives and make stuff harder, for us. It's not hard, man. A lot of this stuff is simple. It's not easy. I will say that. It's not easy, but it's very simple. And it's up to you to make it simple or to make it harder for yourself in the long run. That's it, man. Be a winner, be a best. You have to do what best and winners do. And that's all up to you. You have people that can push you. Me, I can push you, but at the end, I can't do the work for you. But I'm gonna make sure you get that job done. Because these videos and stuff like that is for people who want to work. My videos are for everyone. I always tell people that, man. My videos are for everyone. The only ones that are going to actually listen and take something from it and apply it to their lives are the ones that actually are willing to make the sacrifices, change themselves, and be better. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. I can sit here and preach to you all day, but at the end of the day, are you going to do the work? That's the main question. Are you a winner? Or are you just somebody that's just trying to get by, a follower? Are you a leader? Or are you so easy to manipulate, and as far as your mindset and from other people, average people? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man, people that are very successful and all that, they're not going to shoot down on whatever you're trying to do in life. They're not going to play down on whatever you're trying to do in life. No, they're going to try to elevate you, but they're going to go off of how you act. If you're like one of those guys like with me, people always ask, oh, how to lose weight or how to gain weight. No. If I see and know that you're not going to take action on it, I'm probably not going to waste my time on you. It's that simple, because I want to help people who want to work, who want results, rather than what looks showing or the idea of it. Nah, we don't do that. It's either I get to work, get to working, or I get left behind. Simple as that. Are you comfortable with being average, or are you uncomfortable and willing? Well, are you comfortable to be uncomfortable and willing to be better? Because that's what it takes. You can't be comfortable all your life, especially when it comes to something great or be a winner. You can't be comfortable. It takes that being uncomfortable to, pursue success, pursue, greatness, all that stuff, be a legend. It's all those records and all that stuff, that's been broken wasn't by somebody like, oh, well, it's a record, I'm not going to break. No, they push beyond that. That's why they broke it. Simple as that. Records are broken every day, whether you know that or not. It's one of those things where I remember like we were talking about like, let's just say, having money, for instance, let's just say this was a fact that every rich person says that it sucks, like being rich and don't do it and this and that. You still gonna listen? Or are you gonna go and do it yourself and experience yourself? Or are you just gonna listen to them? It's like that. It's like, whatever, degree or whatever, whatever you're trying to do in life. If everybody that was successful in that, in that hobby or whatever that goal of yours is, and they're just like, oh, it sucks. No, you're not going to go after it? Or are you going to prove them wrong and go after it? Even whatever they say, it don't matter. Prove them wrong, go after it, experience it. And like I said, you might like it, you might not. By the end of the day, you go and experience it yourself rather than listening to other people. Because other people's opinions is just an opinion. Whether it's a fact or, if it's a fact, cool. By the end of the day, whatever comes out of people's mouths, even mine, is an opinion. But it's up to you to take it as an advice and apply it to your life, or like I said, just get left behind. It's all up to you. But I know deep down you're a winner. You might not know that right now. You might not believe that. But at the end of the day, I do. I'm just trying to get you to believe that, because you need to believe that in order for it to work. The whole world can believe in you, but if you don't believe in yourself, it's not gonna work. It's just, it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of people that don't believe in me. I believe in myself. That's all that matters. It can be loved ones that believe in me. That's cool. That's great. But at the end of the day, I believe in myself. So I'm going to keep going. And remember, y'all, never stay satisfied. Be great. Like I said, you are a winner. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.